Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling a really important one. It's called Find the Work That Lives in Your Head. If you're running a small business, you absolutely know that feeling of just having a million things to do. But today, we aren't talking about your everyday to-do list. We're talking about something way heavier than that.
To bring a little calm and order to all that mental workload, we're going to walk through 5 quick sections today. 1. The 3 Thrive layers. 2. Notice and separate work. 3. Owner dependency signals. 4. Make current work visible. And 5. What good enough looks like. All right, let's jump right in.
Section 1, the 3 Thrive layers. Let's get some context for growth. So, briefly near the start here, it helps to know that the Built to Thrive framework has 3 distinct layers. First is the awareness layer, where you just notice the issue. Then practice, where you apply it with a tool. And finally, maturity, where you strengthen and improve the system. This specific guide belongs to the operations and systems domain, right under the Identify Repeated Work path. And this is strictly an awareness level guide. It's really just here to help you notice the repeated work that still lives mostly in your head, long before you try building out complex workflows, checklists, documentation, or buying software.
Here's the core message we really need to understand. A business can absolutely run for a while with the owner just carrying the whole system right there in their head. That is completely normal early on. But as your work increases, memory becomes a weak operating system. If important work only happens because the owner remembers it, well, the business doesn't really have a reliable routine yet.
Moving right along to Section 2, Notice and Separate Work. Time to identify that specific work.
Okay, step 1 is simply to notice what you keep remembering. Owners often carry a massive amount of hidden data around with them. Think about it. You might be carrying customer follow-ups, intricate job details, specific quote steps, invoicing, ordering, deadlines, maybe where files are stored, who needs to approve what, the exceptions to the rules, and of course what done properly actually means. It's all just floating around entirely in your head.
Which brings us to a pretty heavy question. Ask yourself, what would likely stop, slow down, or get missed if the owner stepped away for a few days? Seriously, just think about that for a second. If your list of things that would break is long, that's exactly why we're here. That takes us to step 2. Separate one-time work from repeated work. Look, not every single task needs a system. We really need to focus on work that repeats, filter out the noise, and look for the triggers. Does this happen with every customer or client? Every job or project, every week, every month, every billing cycle, every delivery, or even every time something goes wrong? If it repeats, then it's a prime candidate for a system.
Section 3. Dependency signals. Basically, are you the system?
Let's dive into step 3. Identify where the owner is the system. There are exactly 6 owner dependency signals, and they kind of perfectly reflect the internal monologue of an overloaded owner. Let's quickly walk through them. First, remember, I just know what needs to happen next. Second, decide. People wait for me before moving forward. Third, explain. I keep giving the same instructions. Fourth, chase. I have to follow up or it does not happen. Fifth, check. I need to inspect everything before I trust it. And finally, fix. Problems come back to me because no one knows what to do. If you found yourself nodding along to any of these, you are definitely acting as the system.
Section 4. Make work visible. Time to narrow your focus down.
Step 4 is super practical. Choose one area to make visible first. Please do not start with the whole business. Pick just one repeated area where clearer structure would reduce friction quickly. It could be quote follow-up, customer intake, or job setup. Maybe weekly scheduling, invoice review, or file naming and storage. Or how about order tracking, client onboarding, month-end admin, or recurring service delivery? Pick one, and only one, to start.
Once you've got your one area, we hit step 5. Write the current version, not the perfect version. Write down how the work actually happens today in real life, not your ideal fantasy version. Ask yourself these exact questions. What starts the work? What happens next? What information is needed? Who is involved? Where does the information go? What usually gets missed? What does done actually mean? And what does the owner still need to remember? Getting this messy reality out of your head and onto paper really takes away its hidden power.
Section 5. Defining good enough. Let's eliminate that perfectionism.
So this isn't step 6, this is our wrap-up. What good enough looks like is pretty straightforward. You've done enough for this guide when you can identify the repeated work you are carrying in your head, which tasks depend on your memory, judgment, reminders, or follow-up, which repeated problems keep returning, one area of work that should be clearer first, and finally, how that work currently happens in real life. Let me say this clearly. You do not need a finished system yet. You only need enough clarity to stop treating hidden work as normal.
To actually put this into practice, there is a matching tool you can use right now. It's called the Owner Dependency Map. Use this tool to list the work that depends too heavily on the owner and decide which areas should be made clearer first. Access is totally free, and it's an amazing way to take action. After that, you'll be perfectly primed for our next guide, Spot Recurring Friction in the Business. So what piece of hidden work are you going to get out of your head today? I'll let you think on that. See you in the next explainer.